What's so amazing about chocolate is it's mostly about connection with people.
When my grandfather bought the business, it was owned by the Forrester family. My grandfather's partner and friend, Eric Wilson, who spotted this business, and he said, Charles, this looks like it could be a really interesting thing.
It was very brave of him to take on a business like that. Brave of my grandfather to support him when the banks wouldn't.
My grandfather really focused on the manufacturing side of the business, and there was a lot to do in improving how manufacturing's operated.
The stores were doing okay, but the manufacturing, everything was old, and old methods. And we needed to make changes there if we were going to grow the business.
A lot of what really helped the business get going in the early years was the recognition that malls were arriving. They were popping up in the 70s, and he took a chance on Park Royal as one of those first locations where, here were these different formats that people weren't sure what they were going to look like, whether there was going to be traffic, and they struggled for a number of years. But when they took off, they really took off.
His message at the dining room table when we were growing up was, I'm putting all the money that I make in this business back in, and you need to keep growing it. But part of what I heard was, well, you're not going to have any money when you retire, so you're going to have to sell the business. So my assumption was he was going to sell the business. So we all went off and did our own thing. My path just happened to be pretty close to his.
My mother she did commerce at Queen's, and then she was working in consumer packaged goods marketing for a while. And she initially approached my grandfather with the kind of idea of coming into the business, of taking over the business. And he initially turned her down. And then several years later, she came back again.
But when I came back and kind of realized what I would love is medium-sized retail, he was ready to have that discussion. And so we negotiated, and I bought the business from him.
My daughter Karen has done such a job to take it to the next level. I saw my role was to dominate in BC and Alberta. Karen came along and went a lot further, wanting to take on Ontario.
A company has to grow, and in order to give opportunity to the team of Purdy's, we need to grow and we need to be doing more things. So it wasn't because I needed a bigger company, it was more because Purdy's and the team of people at Purdy's needed it to continue to grow and provide opportunity. With Purdy's, we have 5 pillars: empowering women, children and youth facing vulnerability, sustainable cocoa, the 2S LGBTQ community, and Black, Indigenous, people of color community. So those are kind of the pillars that we focus on. We give back to the communities in Canada where we have our stores, but we're thrilled to be able to give back to communities where our main ingredient comes from.
I think the Flavelle Wellness Park is a great example at BC Children's of just that, thinking about how do we create a safe, enlightened, experiential spot for kids to come and be kids.
One of the things that amazes me is my father was the right person for that earlier era. I think I was the right person for the next era, and I think my son is the right person for the era following me, what are the chances of a family being lucky enough to kind of have the right person in the right era?
My grandfather, while he established a foundation for product quality, I think my mother really established the foundation for the brand and what the brand would come to be and what it would come to mean. And Purdy's today is not just synonymous with high quality chocolate, but high quality gifting and packaging and being a really big part of people's celebrations.
To be part of people's joyous occasions and even some of the not so joyous but markers of occasion, it's pretty special.